Welcome to Nacho Fitness Coach,
where we're all about keeping it real in the world of fitness.
I'm Sarah, your go-to fitness professional, cutting through the BS to bring you the truth.
And I'm Caleigh, your fitness newbie, here to ask the questions you're too afraid to ask.
From crunches to kale, we've got the inside scoop on what works and what doesn't.
Because fitness should be fun.
So Caleigh, what do you like to listen to when you work out?
I don't know, sometimes a podcast and sometimes music.
Hey, wait, this is a podcast. What if you could have both?
At the same time?
Oh, yeah. Podbeat is a free mobile app that lets you add any beat style to any podcast for your workout. It's easy to do and free to download in the App Store. Caleigh, you sound pretty cool with the trap beat, but Sarah, the funk beat works for your voice.
So if you want to make our podcast work for a workout, check it out in the App Store.
They even have Podbeat for Android users in the Google Play Store. Okay, on to the show. So Sarah.
So Caleigh.
I've gone to the bathroom several times over tonight.
Probably at least 10.
At least 10. And every time I've gone to the bathroom, I have to tell you, I did not wash my hands with soap. Because there's no soap in the bathroom.
I went to the bathroom and used soap.
It hasn't been coming out for me.
It did for me.
Well,
dirty bird.
Funny story. When I went to my best friend Bree and I went to a podcast shit show
convention.
I'll say it. It was a shit show called Obsessed Fest. We were we were super drunk. We went to the bathroom and we were like leaving the bathroom. And I was like, I don't want to wash my hands. I'm just one of those people that's like,
this is stupid.
If I don't have to wash my hands, I'm not going to.
Okay.
Sometimes
you do live on a farm.
Yeah. And so we were walking back. I'm like, I don't want to wash my hands. And there was a bathroom attendant and she called me vagina hands.
Did you tip her? That's what you're supposed to do.
No.
You didn't tip your bathroom attendant?
Mm-mm.
Cheapo.
Just wipe my hands on her.
I just walked up to her and I wiped my hands all over her face.
She was like, okay, vagina hands. Which stuck with me.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
what's this episode about?
I think you're just the problem.
It's me.
It's me. It's me. Oh my goodness. All right. So,
God. All right.
That really has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about.
No.
But congratulations.
Thank you. I just wanted to but here's what my fear was that then you for every 10 times I go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom. And so you have been in the bathroom once tonight?
Yeah. And
so I was really afraid you were going to go in there and be like, if the soap doesn't work, how's she been washing her hands? So I just wanted to lay it out there.
I mean, I didn't even know that because when I went in there and used it, the soap did come out. So
it's an automatic dispenser. And it was not dispensing.
I got
the goods.
I got some of it.
Sometimes that happens.
I guess so.
The goods are in there and they just can't
hide the magic touch, I guess.
Come out.
The magic non-touch touch. Okay, well, all right. I guess we'll have to get that addressed for next time. So
talk to the boss.
Okay, so there's a social media account.
All right.
That we're going to talk about today through kind of a recent post he reshared from someone else, which I haven't actually really spent a ton of time with the person that he snagged this from. But this is Alan. I think it's Aragon. I can't remember. And so I'm sorry, Alan, if I mispronounce your last name, because he was another one that did speak at that weekend long fitness summit where we talked about Dr. Spencer Nadolski last week. He was another presenter at that same kind of fitness summit.
Were you there?
Yeah, it was a weekend long thing in Kansas City and they flew in people from all over. So it was, over 2 days, 8 hours each day. There was, every hour there was a different presenter and learned all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. And so anyways, a lot of those people, and then I went through and I followed. Mandy mentioned, some different people in her interview that we talked to her about. And so we've got, that side of the scientific stuff that you just kind of nerd out about.
Mm-hmm.
That you glaze over about. Yeah.
I'm with you. So hold on. I'm going to take my headphones off real quick.
Why? What's wrong with your headphones?
Nothing.
You're going to wash your hands? You're just going to leave me here by myself now for a little bit?
My hands are fine.
She just sniffed them. She had to double check they weren't.
I put my hoodie on.
Oh my God. Are you getting cold now? All right, she's gonna go get dressed. So there is this. So the Aragon. Oh God, yeah, I know. I feel bad. I feel like I'm like hearing him say it from the presentation, but that was so long ago at this point. He shared this like list. It was dietary fears throughout the years, and so he reshared this from Mike Howard, which that handle is @lean-minded, and I don't recognize that name, so I probably should follow him. But anyways, Alan does a bunch of stuff where he does a lot of research and then, you know, respits it back out and all the things. And so I thought it was really interesting to kind of see an actual like timeline of all of the things that throughout different periods of time we are convinced are like these fears about diet, nutrition. And so the first one caught my attention right away because in 1991, the big push was fat is bad.
Fat is bad. Don't eat fat.
Stop the insanity. Fat is bad.
Yeah.
It's horrible. That's also, I feel like, around the decade where a lot of the low fat foods started kind of coming out, and it was this whole big marketing thing.
And I think that was pretty steady throughout the 90s. I was a little tiny baby child.
I know you're such a youngin'.
And
our moms went through that then, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
They were marketed to as the fat is bad. So as all the low fat products came out, you know, it's like you don't, and what then they were doing was sneaking in sugar to give it some flavor, because once you start ripping fat out of, that's what gives you flavor.
Yep.
And so that whole push. So in like the 90s. Then we jumped to 2002.
Over a decade later.
Carbs are bad.
Yeah, this is what I remember.
Yeah.
The Atkins diet, the carbs.
Yep.
And keto, if I remember right, is keto like no fat, no carbs?
No. We'll get to that one.
Okay.
That's a little bit lower on the list. But yeah, so then in like the early 2000s, it was carbs are bad because Atkins was everything. I mean, everyone's like, I'm just eating a whole steak 10 times a day and it doesn't matter. And then they started selling the bars, and they had all kinds of things that they marketed with that. And there was a book too, right? The Atkins diet that was started with a book, I think. Yeah. And then
this is like when I was in high school. So it wasn't like super on my radar because I had like 6% body fat. I didn't really care.
Yeah, you just weren't paying attention to it. Yeah, you're naturally skinny. So then just a few years later, then they're like, okay, maybe not all carbs are bad. Carbs are selectively bad. And
some carbs are bad.
Yeah, some are okay though. But I mean, maybe we went a little too far with the Atkins and
diets named after sexy cities are the way. So what were those?
South Beach.
Oh
yeah, it was a South Beach diet was big then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay, because then they still did let you do some of those, because I got in on that then. That was right.
That
was right after I was out of college.
Okay. This is like post high school for me.
And that was my kind of transition where I was like, okay, well, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've always been active, and now I graduated and I have a desk job for 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
I'm in the corporate life. I'm marketing department.
You did the South Beach diet?
I did actually for a period of time, because a friend of mine had picked up on it, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have to do something, because I didn't want it to start catching up. I knew my activity level was not the same that it was.
This was also like we're in 2005. It might have been more 2007-ish maybe, when not to like jump ahead, but when the Ally, the weight loss.
Oh, I don't know.
The over-the-counter, I think it was called Ally, because a lot of people, you could just go to Walgreens and buy it. And I remember, I never did it, but I remember people around me taking it, and I remember hearing that it just made you like shit your pants.
Ooh, oh, so this is like basically
you just like
gross.
shit straight grease.
That sounds horrible.
Like, that was around this era.
I was never really a diet pill person.
No, I
mean, I just didn't ever. I don't know. That wasn't my vibe.
I do remember before I got married, I went and got like water.
Oh, water pills?
Water pills. I didn't know what they were, what they were going to do, but I took them.
It was a horrible idea.
And that picture that I showed you earlier tonight, I was like, that was around the like,
you know what?
Getting married.
When you're taking water pills, you're supposed to drink like a ton of water.
I drank a ton of alcohol.
I
missed that memo.
I'll push it through. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, we're not going to talk too much about that one, because that was dangerous. Okay, that's the South Beach diet. Okay, well then a few years later comes the skinny bitch.
I don't know what this is.
You don't remember the skinny bitch? It was like the skinny bitch drink, like the margarita or whatever. It was all like the low-cal stuff.
This was not on my radar in 2007.
And she came up, was it the Real Housewives of New York?
I never got
Bethany
into all
Frankel.
that.
It was New York, right,
yeah,
though?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so it was this really weird skinny bitch phase where
Good for them.
she had the drink, she did all the things, but then it's like meat is bad. So then all of a sudden, apparently there was a part of that meat now all of a sudden was bad after we'd been told since, the previous 5 years.
So now meat's bad.
So now meat's bad. Yeah, meat's bad. All right. So then 2011, now, this is actually funny because this is the year we got married, and it's like any food the past 10,000 years is bad. Paleo, bitches. That's so true. Because that's exactly that time that everyone was going paleo. They're like, you got to go Paleolithic. You got to go, what we're just doing now
that's
is just
what
wrong.
it stands for.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Paleo. So, like, what does that mean? Well, I don't know what paleo diet is.
You got to go back all the way through, all the things that...
You got to eat, like, triceratops meat.
No.
Yeah.
It was really high in fats.
Was
too.
it?
Yeah. Should we find an actual description of what exactly?
I feel like nothing before, like, probably...
Because I have a friend that got really big onto the paleo diet. So a diet based on types of foods presumed to be eaten by early humans, consisting chiefly of meat, fish, vegetables, fruit, excluding dairy. Oh, yeah, that was the big anti-grain thing. Because I did at one point try out a CrossFit gym because I was getting into personal training, and people started talking about, other types of things that they had been trying or whatever, and it was getting really big. I was like, before I start judging it, I probably should go see what it's really all about. And so CrossFit and paleo came hand in hand.
Okay.
And they really talked about it. And that was the one that was like, to a certain extent, a little anti-carb. I mean, they were even like, you can't do potatoes, no, whatever. But the anti-grain products.
I do not subscribe to anything that tells me I cannot eat potatoes. It's just like a general rule of mine.
I mean, a potato is a vegetable. So, why hate on the potatoes? I don't understand.
I did not know paleo stood for Paleolithic, the caveman diet or the Stone Age diet. This was not. I do remember when this was a thing, but it's
a modern fad diet consisting of foods.
But it's okay. Here's what's funny to me though, is that, and I'm not trying to like call you out here specifically, but you started your journey much, much earlier than I ever did. Yeah. And so you keep saying these things like, oh, I tried this. I went to a CrossFit gym. I did the paleo diet. Like you also.
I didn't ever do the paleo diet. I thought it was stupid.
But you also had your things that like somebody told you to try. And so you tried it.
Nobody told me to try CrossFit. I just had enough training clients talk about it that I was like, okay, maybe I should go see if my presumptions about it are accurate.
Oh, so you just always known everything.
Yeah.
Correctly. Okay. No, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
For a second. Sorry about that.
And the South Beach stuff was before my journey into fitness.
Okay. And that was
probably the last one that I did try because a friend was doing
excusable.
it. Yeah.
No.
That was before I knew
what
any
I
better.
was trying to do there was to point out that like you are also human and you also tried out things that maybe we can, in hindsight, look back on and be like, that was silly goose fun. And you should, wasn't rooted in what you know now.
No, because I did learn. I mean, I was like, okay, well, what, like with CrossFit, for example, I think I went to one of their kettlebell classes and then like 2 or 3 CrossFit classes.
Listen,
because it was like a Groupon for a month or something. And I went just enough to try it.
Is that still a thing?
I don't know. I think so.
Jeremy and I just watched season 2 of Physical 100.
Oh, nice.
We talked a little bit about it back in season 1.
Yeah.
And it was the guy that won season 2 was a CrossFit guy.
Nice.
I'm never going to try CrossFit. I'm never going to be a CrossFitter. I don't know that we should be like snoozing on CrossFit though.
No, the only problem I have with CrossFit is that I feel like the movements that are in WODs are very technical, and I'm not convinced that they should be done in a group setting.
Okay.
In order to be done correctly by people that are just walking off the streets and getting thrown into these really super complex movements. A group exercise setting. That's probably my biggest. I don't hate on a a lot of it. I also don't particularly care for the fact that true CrossFit workouts, based on my knowledge, are designed for you to go 6 days a week.
Allegedly.
So
that's a lot.
That it's just a huge commitment. I feel like to do it correctly. So if somebody's like, I do CrossFit, but I only go twice a week. Well, then you're probably missing out on a lot of, because they just do such small body parts when they do. Yeah. They're all supposed to be like a part of the whole thing. I just think it's a high commitment.
All the CrossFit guys on the show were like,
they're legit.
If you haven't watched Physical 100, you should watch season 2. It's really a good show. I love it.
Finish. The hardest part for me from season 1 was they were like, oh, wow.
Well, yeah, because Jeremy and I talked about that too, because he talked to somebody, I think at work, who was watching it, because we watched it with the English like voiceovers on. Well, somebody that he talked to listens to it in Korean. So like they hear the Korean, the actual voices coming out of the people, and then they just read the English on the screen. Which we tried that. We finished the entire season and then we went back and tried that. And it's like kind of a whole different vibe. Like you don't get like the super cheesy, English.
Yeah, look at him. Ooh,
so
look
fast.
At his abs.
So
wow.
Cool. He's so strong.
He's so cool.
It is a little bit cringy, but I think it's a great show. And the guys on there that were CrossFitters were pretty badass.
Yeah, no, anyway. It can definitely be legit. And if it, whatever, it's fine.
It depends on what your goals are.
It depends on what your goals are.
If you want to be a CrossFitter, maybe try CrossFit.
Yeah, you should try to train you should train if you want to do a competition. The other thing that really bothered me about going to the gym there, the workouts, is because they would, press something above their heads. And then instead of controlling it all the way down to the floor, it's pretty common that they drop it to the floor. Yeah. And that is a huge pet peeve of mine because...
Yeah, you probably really like our Planet Fitness or something.
Yeah, because you can't. They'll sound the lunk alarm on you if you try to drop something.
Anyway, let's get back to our list.
Okay, so then we're on to paleo. And then 2013... gluten is
plotting to kill you in your sleep. It's so true. I feel like this is like when things maybe started getting on my radar a little bit more. Yeah. I remember when gluten, it's still a thing.
But this is Fast and Furious now. So if you look at this whole timeline, it went from 1991 and then it was 11 years. It was 11 years before we got to Atkins. I mean, we stayed on the fat is bad thing for a really long time. And then it was like 3 years later, 2 years later, 4 years later, and now it's like 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Like it's like every year there's something new. And it's just
they don't talk about eggs on here. I feel like eggs are super.
Yeah, the fat it's bad for you. Yeah. But so gluten is plotting to kill you in your sleep. And then in 2015, breakfast is for chumps. Fasting equals life, which is true. I mean, they got the fasting thing came hard. And then back to the all carbs are bad, but veggies all right. Keto mofos, butter on all the things.
Yeah, keto. That is actually allegedly when keto made. Yep. Keto came on fast and hard. I don't know if it's just the circle I run around with, but.
And then it was the butter. Like everyone thought they could put butter, the bulletproof coffee. Mm-hmm. You could butter on everything and it wouldn't matter. But then it was like people started to notice they were gaining weight and they couldn't figure it out. Oh, it's probably that tablespoon of butter now that's in every single cup of coffee. Like all those extra calories are adding up. Whoopsies. Yep. And so then Whole30 came out, the socially acceptable eating disorders.
That's no lie, because I honestly, Whole30 was probably the first quote unquote diet I ever seriously looked at of I should actually try this. I never did. I looked a lot into it. I went and followed a bunch of groups of people on social media that followed it. Mm-hmm. It was a cult.
It is.
And that's the thing about me is one of my biggest fears in life, other than not being funny, is accidentally joining a cult. So I'm very leery.
So maybe the fitness competition's off the table.
Might be.
I mean, it can happen really quickly, but
Whole30, that was an interesting one. And I remember their whole thing was you think giving up creamer in your coffee is hard? Well, no, cancer's hard. It was just very which that's not false. That's true. Right. Giving up creamer in your coffee probably is a lot easier than
dealing with cancer,
battling cancer. But it was just
still, it's can you really compare those.
Like apples and oranges. Like,
Completely.
come on now. No, I never did end up. But I, at the same time, and I still think, like, I think there is something to eating whole foods.
There is.
You know, and I like the principle kind of behind it. This was a very strict.
It was,
like,
it was too strict. And I think that was the problem. It was so restrictive that, I mean, even if it's only for 30 days, I subscribe to the Whole Foods kind of situation, but you know, you have to do it within.
I think that's where it
balance
kind of
and-
like tricked people, or tricked me anyway, because I was like, there can't be anything bad about eating whole foods, but it's the way that it was structured, and it was like, it just, something about it gave me the ick. So I never did.
Yeah, because it was the socially acceptable eating disorder kind of situation. So, all right, 2018, anything remotely resembling a non-meat product is the devil. Screw veggies.
Carnivore diet.
Oh, yep, the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
basically
still-
Atkins, I feel like. I
That's
mean,
still ongoing.
God, we
I feel
come
like.
full circle with some of these, and it's just, but I mean, at least we can mostly agree on protein's good. Right?
Yeah, as far as we know, I brought this up a while
as
ago.
we've
I'm
got,
like, in 10 years, are we going to look back and be like, remember when we used to always like eat so much protein? We thought it was so great.
Such meatheads.
But that's the thing about all these is like things that you shouldn't eat. Whereas like the whole protein thing is like, get
What you can add in
protein.
instead of the restrictive kind
Yeah.
of mentality. Yeah. Super accurate. And then present day.
seed oils.
Oh, yes.
This is a big thing right now.
Is
and
a
it
big thing right now.
It is Satan's urine.
Is it though?
I don't know. That's what it says.
I know. That's exactly what. Well, that's what they.
I don't
That's what they
know.
make you feel like. That like, how dare you? How dare you eat a seed oil? Like, why are you not going to restaurants and actually looking at like what they're cooking all their stuff in? Like, how dare you not actually look and see what oils are being used to cook your food?
Honestly, I feel like I have seen this come up a lot.
Fast
on
and low
social
carb
media. It's
harder.
like the
Yeah,
whole
I
seed
mean,
oil thing. I don't know. I don't honestly. What is a seed oil? I don't even know what that means.
they are like. I mean, I'm sure they probably have a list. Peanut oil? No, it wouldn't be peanut oil. I've seen a list. Hold on. See, I don't subscribe to this. So, seed oils. So, that right just came up. Seed oils to avoid. Why avoid seed oils?
Oh my god.
According to a lot of folk on the internet, the issue with seed oils is they contain high levels of omega-6 fatty acids. The argument goes that one of the most common omega-6 linoleic, I don't know how to say that word, acid is converted. Oh my gosh, that's way too much. Converted to acid. Arachnicotic? Somebody help us out here.
Spider oils. Stay away from spider
cotton.
oils.
There you go. Canola, sunflower,
Oh.
grapeseed, cottonseed, safflower, soybean, and
I don't
corn.
use any of those. Canola. Well,
A soybean
I use
oil, like-
I use olive oil.
What do you think a lot of people probably, what's the type of oil that like McDonald's uses? You like McDonald's
Easy.
oil type, oil
I
for
did
fries.
quit eating McDonald's burgers.
Canola blend. Is that one of them?
Yeah, canola.
They didn't say it. Oh yeah, canola.
Yeah, canola first.
Yeah,
First
so that's
step.
really probably, if you look at like any fast food place, they're probably cooking their fries as a
Yeah.
common one in some sort of seed oil. So, you know, you take a perfectly acceptable vegetable,
Yeah.
you know, you take a good potato, throw it in some seed oil, and now it's Satan's urine.
It's poison.
It's poison. You're going to die.
You're gonna die. Well, guess what?
It was good.
We're all gonna die.
We're all going to die at some point. So
this-
and guess
yeah.
what? Good news is in 12 months, there's going to be something
It's
new.
gonna be a new thing you got.
So you don't have to worry about it anymore. So just enjoy your life for the next
I like it.
year or so. And then, but yeah, this is, oh my gosh, look at this. You're like, crazy how many articles there are just right about all of it.
Yeah, I know. I knew this
here we
was
go.
like gaining traction.
Scientists debunk claims of seed oil health risks. There's significant evidence that does not support the claims, such as canola and soy are toxic. Should you avoid seed
Toxic.
oils?
That's a strong word.
It is a very strong word. Linoleic acid.
I am surprised
OH.
eggs was not on this list because I feel like they really
It could
had
be.
a moment of
Eggs, people do kind of hate on the fat, the yolk of the egg.
yeah.
I love the whole egg though. So
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah, that one,
Egg whites are trash.
they're not good. So anyways, there's the list. So Alan's a great follow. And then he Lean Minded, Mike Howard.
Not you, Alan.
Not you, Alan, different Alan. He's got the research review kind of website that he does. He's a big flexible dieting kind of guy. Flexible dieting guy. He's got a podcast. He's got some things. There you go. Protein ebook. Latest podcast interviews. Hey, Alan, maybe you'll come on you come talk to us.
Slide into our DMs
about this. But yeah, that was part of the presentation he did, was his little research review website that he does. He goes and reads the white papers, and he was kind of promoting it to, the fitness professionals that kind of get the Cliff's Notes.
Do you remember when we did that episode of Nick and where I asked you guys were talking about white papers? And I was like, what are white papers? Well, when that episode came out, I had 2 people text me and say, what who happens to be a nurse? And say, I didn't know what white papers were.
Really?
Like, well, good, because I felt really stupid and thought I wasn't the only one.
Well, now you know. See, it's great. There we go. But
there we go.
Yeah. So, all right. He's a good one. Check him out. Check out some of the other people he kind of links and tags. He actually does a pretty good job of snagging content. You can kind of create your network then and just kind of start reaching out. But
cool.
Check him out. Alan would love to chat with you on Nacho Fitness Coach. Yeah. We can find a topic for you to talk about. So there we go. I think that's all we got for today.
Okay.
So until next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to head over to our Instagram at Nacho Fitness Coach and let us know how you feel about the topic. Do you love it or hate it?
Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening. And if you like our podcast, leave us a rating. See you next time.
You've been listening to Euphony Innovatives Sonified.